remember saying this to me, but you said you attract what you fear.
Right.
And since we spoke, I've just been thinking about that all the time. What are you afraid of? And do you agree with that comment that you attract what you fear?
Apparently, I'm afraid of great actors.
Well, I mean, positively and negative. I mean, you attract. Now, not just what you fear. You attract what you feel, what you are, what you attract. What's on your mind? Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the law of physics. I don't know how anybody can disagree with that. It's just ask any physicist; they'll tell you that it's true. Yeah.
David Mamet wrote.
But if you're voting, if you're doing anything right now, and you don't know the Constitution, it's kind of a problem, right? It's an issue. The reason being is that the Constitution is what every one of these candidates that you're actually voting into office, they actually swear an oath to this thing that they'll uphold the Constitution above everything. But then when they get into office, police officers are writing you tickets for codes and statutes. That's not a constitutional law, all right? And then there's a difference between legal and lawful. So legal is man-made law, and lawful is God's law. So let's jump into it. I'm going to go into it. I'll try to make it as fast as possible, guys. But I also want you guys to retain this information because it's important. They got everyone voting on emotion, right? Hence this democracy, which is a republic. Please look it up. But they use the television to get everyone emotionally invested, not logically. And then we make emotional decisions. And I've done it. And this is why I'm doing this. So let's dive in and let's go, right? So everyone talks about the Constitution, but the Constitution starts from the Bill of Rights. Right now I'm on US History. I call it US History, but it's ushistory.org. All right. So the Bill of Rights and the Constitution hand in hand, guys. When you go into court, you want to know the Bill of Rights, Articles of Confederation, the Constitution, but the organic Constitution, because there's actually more than one. There's actually two. All right. So let's dive into it. Right. So Amendment 1, it's freedoms, petitions, and assembly. Right. What does it say on Amendment 1? Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievance. All right, so let's break this down. So we're talking about Congress, right? They're the ones that make the law. All right, and it says that they shall make no law, all right, regarding religion. So which means that they cannot make a law that says that you don't have the right to worship whoever you want. And now you have to understand that goes whether it's you call it demonic or you're calling it Jehovah. There's no difference, guys. In law, people have the right to be bad. People have the right to be good. You can't tell them what they can and cannot do. And that's where a lot of this loss of our rights is coming from, is that people believe that one group should live one way versus another. But let's keep going. Prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, meaning that they can't stop the freedom of speech. They can't block it. They can't rename it something else. So if, let's just say, for example, you're a police enforcer, policy enforcer, or police comes up to you and says, I'm arresting you because you cursed me out, or I'm arresting you because you called me a liar. He's making an emotional decision. All right. You have the right to say whatever you want. As long as you don't harm anyone, you're perfectly fine. And this may not be easy for everyone to understand, but if anyone is telling you like, oh, I'm going to call the cops on you because you cursed me out and you do this, and they give you a citation, right, that's under a code or statute, you have to fight it. You're going to have to go into court. You're going to have to do whatever you got to do, ask for discovery, because they're not going to let you out. They're going to want to make sure you know what you're doing. So freedom of speech, you can say what you want, however you want, wherever you want. And that's just the real deal. All right. And then the second part of that is or of the press, meaning that you can print what you want. You can write articles. You can put out your own newspaper. You can do all these things. But then when you look over history, they've killed anyone or they've dismantled any organization that's had their own magazines, that's had their own newspapers, all these things, which is against the Constitution. And so you have to understand, if you don't know the Constitution, you can't speak out. You can't just say, oh, that was wrong, or, oh, they dismantled the Black Panthers and they had their own newspaper. No, they violated the Constitution. They violated their oath of office. All right. Or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Excuse me. I am from another country, so my language will be off a little bit. So basically, when even growing up, I grew up in New York, very heavily policed. You guys know this. But you can stand on the corner with a bunch of your friends, they're going to tell you, you got to move. You can't be here. We don't argue. We just leave because they got guns, or they'll just arrest you and tag you with a false charge. But the truth of the matter is, you don't have to leave. If you're around your friends and you're gathering and no one's harming, or you're not conspiring to harm someone, they can't tell you to leave. They can't tell you can't have a barbecue. You can't have a group of friends doing a cipher, breakdancing, none of that. But again, we don't know the Constitution, so we all just adhere and we just break it up, right? And again, fear is the number one tactic that they use. And to petition the government for redress of grievance. So if the government does something that we do not like, if they pass a bill, a law, if they do anything to us that we don't like, we can petition them, right? We can put in motions, we can sue them, we can go there with pickets and whatever you want to do. They can't lock us up for that. And they have been, right? So this is the Amendment 1, Freedom Petitions and Assembly. Hopefully it helps, guys. I'm trying not to make it a long one because I know the attention span right now is something very valuable, but I hope that your energy is being taught something new. All right. So tap in to Amendment 2 on the next one.